Hi, my name is Ann Edenfield-Sweet. Welcome to Wings for Life. This is the rise of wings in the fall of 2020, and boy, we've got a great program for you tonight. As a reminder, I'd like to tell you, please take photos and selfies of you at home listening. Send them to me, text them to me, send them into our Facebook. We'd love it. Please keep your video on whenever we're in the breakout rooms because we want to see who you are and what you look like. Of course, you will be muted when we are in the large groups and when the speaker is talking. Please limit your distractions just so you can pay attention. So we're so glad you're here. If you have any questions, you can go into the chat box and write down any questions you might have. And at the very end of the presentation, we are going to go to breakout rooms where you're going to be able to talk to one another. If you haven't registered tonight, I'd invite you to go to our registration form. It's online. You could find it at the link that I sent out and the invitation for this program for tonight. If you do lose internet service for any reason, just log back in because we are not going anywhere. We're going to be here and hope you'll come back and join us. So I'm very excited tonight. We have a wonderful speaker. Brian Baca is the head of the Better Business Bureau for New Mexico. Actually, there are 101 Better Business Bureaus, nonprofit organization in North America. And they work to help the public and work with businesses and try to help us to understand who is doing a good job and who isn't. Brian has a varied career. He spent 33 years, ended up as a colonel in the National Guard, and then he retired, and now he's been with the Better Business Bureau for over 10 years. So Brian is a wonderful man. I'm excited about what we're all going to learn tonight. So Brian, I'm going to let you share with us about scams and how to scam-proof our lives to protect us all from all the scams that are going on. So Brian, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Ann, and I really appreciate this invitation. I know we've been talking about it for some time, but good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And and I see what Ann and what your organization does, and Wings for Life is just so beneficial to the community, and especially everything and what we've been going through and the pandemic and everything else. You are so beneficial in your organization, your nonprofit organization, to what you do inside our community, which means so much. But good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I'm so glad to be here with you this evening, tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. And yes, Ann, we are going to spend the majority of this discussion this evening talking about scams because, boy, we get hit with scams every day. Sometimes you don't even know you're being hit with scams and you're avoiding them. And I've even got called today at my work line on a scam about a loan, but we'll talk about those. But it is great to be with you all, and I just want to tell you just how the relationship that began with us a little over a year ago with Ann and Wings for Life, and we were all down outside at the convention center. It was a little over a year ago now, because it was hot and it was in the summer. I remember, and it was a drug-free event, and that was the opportunity that got to start talking to some of Ann's folks first, and then Ann started talking to a couple of my people there, and I'm just so glad that we got together. And this is what this is about, and this is about building relationships and partnerships within our community. And this is what's so different of us between Angie's List and other organizations that do the type of the things that we do. The difference about us is we are here. We are in the community. Kind of use the term that I've heard for a long time during my career is boots on the ground. But we are in the community, like Ann says. We're one of 101 BBBs in North America. I am fortunate that I'm the president of the Better Business Bureau, serving New Mexico and Southwest Colorado. And yes, Ann, I spent a long career in the National Guard, going all over the country, in the world for over 33 years, and was fortunate enough to come back home and apply for this job. And it's just been a great time for me, and to start my civilian career that I had not had a civilian job since I was 17. So just a little bit about our mission and our vision. This is our mission statement. So we're the middleman between businesses and consumers. We do, and I think we get our revenue from our accredited businesses, which we have almost 3,700 within New Mexico and Southwest Colorado. But I will tell you that the majority of my staff that we spend the majority of our time dealing with consumer education and doing the type of things that we're doing now, especially with Scam Tracker that we're going to talk about in great detail this evening. But our mission is to be the leader in advancing marketplace trust between consumers and businesses. And our vision is an ethical marketplace where buyers and sellers can trust each other. And we celebrate those accomplishments and some of our accredited businesses that are doing things so well. We make it our we make it sure that we talk about this. We share it with other accredited businesses on how to be a standout business, especially ethical business and a trustworthy business during these dire times during this pandemic that we've been in for almost 8 years. We see that consumers are looking out to us even more showing that what we do and the services that the Better Business Bureau provides for consumers and businesses alike is more needed now than ever. Where we see just with our business on our website, we have almost about 74,000 inquiries from consumers about businesses, about scams, about leaving complaints, customer reviews. So my staff and I are very, very busy, and we're kind of the middleman, kind of the referee between consumers and businesses. The standards for trust. This kind of jumping up a couple of slides. Standards for trust, and these are our core values. And these are, like I said, we have almost 3,700 accredited businesses. These being that they're more than members. Their applications are vetted through my staff to make sure that they meet all these standards for trust. In the application that businesses are applying for to become accredited with us, in that application, it identifies each of these criteria as building trust, advertise honestly, tell the truth, being transparent, integrity. This was so easy for me to transition into my civilian career that these are the same core values, the leadership values that was instilled in me through my entire career. So it was kind of a lot easier for me to transition into the civilian world, into this nonprofit organization that I work for, that I'm proud to work for a board of directors. It just made my job so much easier. And even now that we've been talking about with diversity and everything with my staff and aligning them with our core values, it's been a lot less work doing it because our core values are already in place there. We know what our core values are, and everything that me and my staff do goes along with these core values, these standards for trust. And these standards for trust are so important in our building. That's one of the first things that when we moved into this building that I had this hanging up in our front area where the reception area is. So what does your BBB do? So me and I usually have a staff between 17 and 20 people, depending on how many sales folks that I have trying to get accredited businesses. But you can see on this list of what we do, a lot of it is in the consumer area. With consumer resources, we do customer reviews. We do about anywhere between 600 and 800 customer reviews a month. We handle about 330 complaints a month with the complaint dispute resolution. We do our own arbitrations and mediations here when businesses are trying to come in with a complaint dispute resolution. Both sides are trying to work the issue, but they need some kind of help. Sometimes it's for a mediator. Sometimes it's an arbitrator who actually makes a judgment on these complaints. We do investigations on businesses We do charity, Weiss Giving Alliances. We give the charity seal, giving consumers advice on what charities. You can imagine, especially with all the natural disasters that are going on some of these scammers that are trying to get involved with charities and Weiss Giving Alliance. We do some things with BBB military line. A lot of them are briefings for new soldiers on places to stay away from, like payday loans type shops like that as well. And like I said, partnerships. We try to do networking. It's very, I love that we have this opportunity to do what Ann has been able to do tonight, to gather you all together and be able to stream this as well. And we're doing as what we can do during this pandemic, still trying to be safe, but business still does continue. And then you can see what we're going to talk about mainly is on this consumer on the scam tracker, which is just becoming a huge other job description for a couple of my folks here in my office. So this is what the BBB, this is the scam tracker, and it's been in existence for about 2 years now. And this is, so if you only remember one thing tonight, remember this. Remember our URL, our website is very easy. It's bbb.org. It's www.bbb.org. It used to be with the 101 BBBs, each BBB used to have its own URL. We had to do some things to correct us right on Google with star ratings and everything else. But all you have to do is look up bbb.org, and the website will geolocate you to the Better Business Bureau service area that you're looking for. And there's a tab on the bbb.org. There's a tab there for businesses that are interested in getting to be members accredited with us, to leave a complaint, to leave a customer review. But one of the big tabs that's used a lot on our website is this one, the BBB Scam Tracker. And it's a tab on our website. And you click on this, it brings you to Albuquerque, to the New Mexico service area. And it looks like we're in the middle of the balloon fiestas here. But those are not balloons, folks. Those are actual scams. So I had my marketing coordinator, when she was doing these slides for me, did a screenshot last week. As of November 5th, she did a screenshot and did an inquiry of how many scams our BBB in New Mexico and Southwest Colorado, how many scams that we have had reported to us in 1 year time frame. From November 1st, 2019 to November 5th, 2020, our Better Business Bureau has handled 4,390 scams have been reported to our BBB in a year. And when you get into this website, you can take your mouse and track it over these balloons on the live site, and it'll show you what that scam is. It'll show you a legend at the bottom of what that scam is, how much money has been tried to be taken from that person, and actually how much money has been lost. So in 1 year, here on the left of that slide, scammers have targeted consumers in our service area for a total of attempted to scam almost $220,000 here in New Mexico. And scammers, consumers, public folks have lost almost $140,000 in a year. And you just take that in our service area, one of 101 different service areas, and we're looking at about 202,000 scams reported on this scam tracker, and it just getting worse every day. So what I'm going to go over the rest of this, the duration of this presentation, is the types of scams. And these are the top 10 scams. And I see that there is only 9, but one of them is called the puppy scam that I'll talk about towards the end. But these are the top 10 scams of the year. The phishing scam, the home employment scam, of course, the stimulus checks, rental property, rental houses, online purchases is becoming, the biggest scam this year. Loans, payday loans, romance scams, the publisher clearinghouse scam, And of course, the IRS and Social Security scam. The IRS scam for 2 years in a row prior to this was the #1 scam uh, 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 in the nation. Okay, the first one I'm going to talk about is the fishing scam. And folks know this isn't fishing, going out to the lake with your fishing rod and bringing in fish. Of course, it's even spelled with a PH instead of F, but fishing. But it still is sounded out the same and means a lot different. The phishing scam had been pretty big. They usually came in the forms of email or text from unknown people with links that they want you to open. They're forwarded on social media with videos. They're texts or emails, and they're giving you a link or an attachment, wanting you to open up that attachment. So, and now we even see them in apps for games and online services that ask you to provide your login information. And these are all scams, just trying to get your personal information so that they can take over. Take over on the phishing scam. They take over your computer. And I'll be one here to admit that Alan Marks in the Albuquerque Journal came and interviewed me a few years ago, and I was looking at my slides earlier, and I remembered that yours truly right here was the victim of a phishing scam, and it was a BBB chief falls prey to intrusions. Successful assault through email reinforces need for constant vigilance. And I'll tell you is what I was dealing with in the example is I have an office in Farmington with a couple of employees there as well. And and that office was just too big for us. It had plenty of room for another occupant in there. And I went to the mayor of Farmington and asked and told him that we had room for a nonprofit in there. And we solicited a nonprofit. It became, we now deeded over that building to Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Central New Mexico. And during this, me and at the time, Chris Garcia, who was the president of Big Brothers Big Sisters down there, we were handling with the deed and our lawyers looking at the deed, and we kept on having email communication daily. And all of a sudden one morning I got an email from her asking me to open up this thing to verify something, and silly me. This is from a person I've been dealing with, who I've talked to the phone with, that I've met in person with, and got an email from her thinking you need to open up this attachment. I open it up. Not 5 minutes later, she's calling me on the phone. Brian, don't open that email. If it's it was a phishing scam, and they got control of all of my contacts in my email. Well, guess what? The same thing happened to me. So of course, in all my contacts, I have contacts with everyone else in the 100 other BBBs, and we could see inside my IT person came in my office, and we could see the person, the scammer, inside my computer forwarding emails out of my inbox. And these are just ways that they're able to gather. And the phishing scam is to gather a whole bunch of contacts. And the goal of all these scammers in looking for this is ways to get into your personal information, where they can actually get into your bank accounts and everything else and steal money and steal money from you. So you always have to be vigilant on things that you open, on emails. Just nowadays, you got to look, because there's always something missing that's kind of funky in that it's like one of those in the comics on Sunday, which of these two pictures is the difference is. And that's what sometimes, especially if you don't know someone that is emailing you, that you got to look for these indicators that it is fake. And for one thing, if you're not sure and you know that person, before you open that link or that attachment, it would behoove you to call that person, make sure, hey, did you send me this? Is this a correct invoice that we owe? In other examples we've seen happen is that the boss, the president, the CEO will be in a board meeting or some type of meeting, and he'll get a text from someone in his office, say, hey, boss, we need to pay this invoice right away. They're asking for it. That's another way of phishing as well. And that was really big a few years ago, but it is still a scam out there. You got to be very vigilant on your emails, especially from people that you don't know. And I mean, we get so much junk mail every day anyway, but you really need to pay attention to it. This employment scam, it's been a scam that's been around. And a lot of these scams that I'm talking to you about were older scams, but that what they're saying now is that these scammers, like, in companies, you have strategic plan meetings to be able to, how to be better as your own business, your own company. But scammers have their own strategic planning too, and it's different ways to inventing of getting people's personal identification. But the employment one has been big during COVID. People getting emails with job offers of that just too good to be true, and that's valid point in every one of these scams. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. But these work from home scams have been pretty big, about making unbelievable amount of money every 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden there's a caveat that you need to give them your bank account information to set up your personal email, and a lot of times they will provide you a check to buy some stuff that you need to do to be able to work from home. But and then they send you a check and it's way over the amount that they were supposed to give you. They call you, oh, we made a mistake. We sent you too much money. You need to refund us. And then just the majority part of the money back. You need to refund it to us back. And by that at the time, it's too late. You've been hacked. But the home employment one that has been booked. You got to. That's one of the bigger ones that we're seeing now. You got to be very, very careful, because if you're getting job offers, especially in areas that you're not even familiar with, those are probably too good to be true. The stimulus check, this is a good one here now too, because they're talking about right now as we speak about another stimulus check, and checks that are mailed for you but are for an odd or unreasonable amount. But the one thing on the stimulus checks that is coming out, another warning, is currently con artists claim you need to provide or verify info to get your second payment. Why would they need a different payment information if you already got the stimulus check, the first one several months ago, and all that information is taken from your income tax returns? So be very vigilant on these stimulus checks. And the big thing too is that we all know and we all refer to them as stimulus checks, but they're not delivered that way with that verbiage. These are called they're called economic. These are economic payments, and there's nothing stimulus that'll be on that check. And if you got a check the first time, nothing was stimulus on it. It was about an economic payment. Rental, this has been pretty big as well. People renting, getting people try to rent homes without seeing them, asking you for money for deposit on a rental property that you haven't even seen. These people aren't willing to meet with you personally. They want to do everything offline, online. Those are big indicators that is a scam. Online purchases. This is the biggest one of the year right now, with the online purchases and the pandemic that we're in, and people ordering so much more online. The big thing on online purchases, you got to remember that you have to look at the top when you're purchasing these things. You got to make sure on the top that it shows a locked, like a lock, and it shows HTTPS. That shows that the web address that is privacy secured, and those are the more common. You'll always see when you have to put a credit card to something online. You'll see you have to make sure that website is secure, is private, and and it's a legitimate business. Loans. This is one I got called on this morning. If you're ever, especially a big indicator on these robocalls, if you're getting called and it's tape recorded, recording and it says press 1 or press 2 for this, you need to just hang up. You need to always hang up on robocallers. The romance scam, that's usually big in February where you see a lot of it. But the biggest examples that I see in the romance scams are soldiers that are deployed or stationed in another country, getting involved in online romance with someone here in the States. The relationship takes on very, very fast. There's a lot of feeling and emotion in it. And all of a sudden, that soldier from far, far away needs some money very fast for some project that he has when he's getting out of the service. Well, so many people fall in for the romance scam. Publishers Clearinghouse. I've done a TV interview on this. The Publisher Clearinghouse, it's like you see on TV. They're going to come to your door and ring your doorbell if you win the Publisher Clearinghouse. We had a guy, I did an interview on Publisher Clearinghouse and had the rest of the story, had a gentleman in Espanola that had lost $2,500 told him that he had to pay the taxes up front on any of these big prize winners, especially Public Clearinghouse lottery. We know that they take the taxes up front. And then, like I told you, the IRS and Social Security scam has been pretty big. IRS scam, not last summer, but the summer before, scammers were busted in a call center in India. Most of these are in third world countries where these scammers are in call centers, and busted 2 call centers. And the pictures of the folks that you busted, these are young folks. These are the entrepreneur type, millennial type folks that are in there busy on these call centers doing these robocalls. Some ways to protect yourself, and that Anne has my slides on the website as on the Wings for Life website. But make your social media private. People make mistakes of, hey, here my family, we're here at this restaurant right here. It's a big indicator. Hey, come rob my, no one's home. Come rob my house now. Keep your social media private. Look for the padlock. Look for the HTTPS while shopping online. Verify the information yourself. Beware of imposters asking for personal information. My biggest recommendation, hang up on robocalls. Check your credit reports and change your passwords regularly. Often so many people, and I may be at fault sometimes too, has the same password for everything. There's apps out there that are able to generate secure passwords with double checking, but be very cautious on your passwords and when to change them. And don't trust free trial offers. You don't ever send money in to receive a prize, loan, or grant. Anything that is owed back to them would be taken up front. And mainly, don't make rash and emotional decisions. You need to, kick back, think about some things, and just don't be rushed. And you just got to be cautious that there's just so many scammers out there, and just be always willing to double check everything. So it was great to be with you all this evening. Just these scams, there's going to just be more and more scams that keep coming up, and just please be cautious. We work too hard for our money, and no use in just giving it away to scammers. And I enjoyed this time with you this evening, and thank you for inviting me here.
That was really, really informative. And wow, we all have to be very careful here with all these scams, that's for sure. Well, I always close with a story, and so I'm going to close with our story now. And this is called Remember What is Most Important by Vicki Vorsham. It's not having everything go right. It's facing whatever goes wrong. It's not being without fear. It's having the determination to go on in spite of it. It's not where you stand, but the direction you're going in. It's more than never having bad moments. It's knowing that you are always better and bigger than the moment. It's believing that you have already been given everything you need to handle in life. It's not being able to rid the world of all its injustices. It's being able to rise above them. It's a belief in your heart that there will always be more good than bad in the world. Remember to live just this one day and not add tomorrow's troubles to today's load. Remember that every day ends and brings with it a new tomorrow full of exciting new things. Love what you do the best you can, and always remember how much you are loved. Well, this is the end of our Facebook time. Now, for those of you on Zoom, stay with us because now we are going to go into breakout rooms in just a second. So thanks for being with Wings for Life tonight. We are so happy that you are here. Next week, we have a wonderful speaker. Don Shapiro will be talking about Family Relationships 101, and I know it's going to be great, so I hope you'll join us next Monday, 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.